Welcome to another session of Synergysphere. At Synergysphere, we believe in uniting minds for collective success. These sessions, Synergysphere, we are looking forward to foster an environment where learners from deserving background come together and share their areas of expertise with each other. This is a collaborative exchange inside, and you get to learn from each other. So today we have our speaker, Mr. Stephen Raffis. He is an MEP, building commissioning engineer at FPC Global. Buildings are more than just structures. Buildings are merely physical spaces. They shape our environment, influence our well-being, and define how we live and interact. As we move towards our sustainable future, green and smart buildings technologies are transforming the way we design and construct and manage infrastructure. Today, we are honored to welcome Mr. Stephen, and he has 12 plus years of experience in the industry. With his expertise, his passion towards the smart, eco-friendly infrastructure drives him the mission to optimize energy use, streamline construction processes, and build a future that is both intelligent and sustainable. So, today we will be starting the session and we will get to know more about how the sustainable building works, right? Yes. So, before we start, I would like to ask Mr. Stephen a few questions.
Sure.
Yes.
Mm.
So, could you tell us a bit about yourself, your educational background?
Yeah. First of all, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad that everybody is here, and I hope the session will be fruitful for everybody here. And coming to my introduction briefly, I'm an MEP professional with 12 years of experience in project management, construction industry, where I have worked with different kinds of buildings like warehouses, commercial office spaces, commercial interior fit outs, and data centers currently, which I'm working on, and clean room projects. Various kinds of buildings I have worked on, where from the project initiation phase till the project closure and handing over, we are given the in charge and responsibility to take care of the construction works. That is specifically MEP, not civil. MEP works, that is mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting works inside a building. So this is something about myself.
Okay. Wow, that is very interesting. A lot of things are very new to me as well, and I am glad that I'll get to know more about it today. So, can you provide us a brief overview about your family background?
um I'm married, so we are a family of 5 people. It's me, my wife, my father, my sister, and my brother-in-law. So we all stay together in Secunderabad, Alwal. Um, and my sister is also a working employee. She works in Synchrony. My wife is
Okay.
also working with Infosys. So this is something about my family.
Okay, great. That's really good. Having a family closer to you, staying together, that works out well for, managing stress and everything as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. What made you choose this particular topic,
This is something which is trending right now, and this concept of smart buildings and sustainability is something which is gonna be prioritized by the government, already prioritized by government, as well as it's going to be taken seriously in the days ahead to come, and which is something very keenly we have to look out, because it's going to protect our environment, it's going to protect our um, space around us. Whatever problems we faced right now due to climatic conditions, a lot of this things can be reversed, this can be reduced in the days ahead to come. And so being in construction industry, it is almost like 30 to 40% of the damage is caused by this industry, by CO2 emission. So in that case,
right?
what kind of measures we are going to take out? So it's going to be very interesting. And one more important part why this will be interesting is that most of the time a human being spends his day is inside a building. It's inside
Very
a
true.
house or inside an apartment or inside office space. Very less does he go out on the road and stays on the road. On, but most of the time it's inside the building. So this ecosystem is very important. So that is one of the priorities. I have choose this one.
That is very true. Having a place where we stay and knowing more about it, choosing a
Mm.
field that supports that whole idea, that is a really good thought that you have. So you are pursuing PGDM from MIT SD Pune. How has this education pursuit impacted your career so far, and what is the best part, do you think, according to you, that has helped you grow in better space?
Uh, Here in MIT, the best part for me is that I'm getting exposed to learn about more about business management subjects also, like
Mhm.
accounting management or HR management or business communications. So there's so many other things subject as an organization. You want to grow up in your career, not just to be an engineer, but there will be a point of time where you will have to be a general manager or a CEO down the line. Then you will have to know more about how your business works, how the internal operation management works. So those kind of informative things I'm getting to learn in MIT, and I'm excited because I'm going through the semester two still. I'm
Correct.
excited. It's been great till now.
That's really good. We are glad that you are learning so much and you are
Mm,
getting to know better and you will
mm,
grow better than this.
true.
So, yes.
Thank you.
So, what are the skills that are required in your profession according to you? And what do you think the freshers must have but are lacking?
Um, See, I wouldn't say freshers are lacking because it is their first time experiences.
Very true.
However, uh, coming like I passed out in 2013, so a lot of advancement happened in the last 10 to 12 years in the construction industries. Something I would like to emphasize on certain, there are a lot of softwares which have been updated, and there are a lot of project management ways where people have moved from the traditional methods to the more advanced ways of tracking and data driven executions have been started. So I believe they will have, any fresher should be updated by the fourth year second semester if he's interested to get into the construction ASC architecture construction industry. He has to be updated with the latest softwares and technologies being used in the market, like the BIM is
Mhm.
something, it's called building information modeling, which is something which is taking over the market right now. And I will be talking about that too in some glimpse in the slides ahead. So they'll have to be updated with the trends. Advanced, a
Very
lot
true.
of AI. People might think it is not true, but AI, a lot of usage of AI I have seen in my industry to to make more data driven execution. So AI is also playing a great role in construction industry right now.
Very true. Very true. AI is working very fastly, I believe. So, any other soft skill you think that there should be and that might help?
Soft skills, yeah, communication and managerial skills. Interpersonal
Okay.
skills are very much important in the field which I am from, because 70 to 60% of your work every day is going to be communication,
Very true.
because you're managing people, you're wanting to communicate some important things to people, and that shouldn't fade. If I say it to somebody and then this other person takes it over and then the information is lost. So communication and interpersonal skills are very important. You'll have to be confident enough to speak, uh, and how you're able to communicate, convince people, because different minds under one roof, it is very hard to work. So
Very true.
you should be knowing your tactics of convincing people, getting to know them why what you're saying is important.
Very
Interpersonal
true.
skills, in short, is very important.
Very, very, very true. Very true. And I hope that our learners will do better for this as well. Yes. So if someone wants to be at the same level or position that you are at this moment, right? So what are the tips that you would give them?
Um, like tips in the sense, I would suggest them to be always be updated with
Okay.
the current trends, and that has really helped me in the past 2 to 3 years. I was not the same before, from 2013 to 2018. I was very a regular engineer, not being very updated with the current trends, and not be able to upskill yearly basis. Earlier it was like 5 to 10 years something new is to come. Now it is not that way. It is like every 2 years, every 3 years, or 1 year, something new is coming into the market for you to learn technically, or non-technically, managerial wise. So being updated about your industry sector is very important, and I think a lot being active in LinkedIn, getting to communication, and a lot of relationships you need to maintain with your acquaintances, like with your employees, your friends in your
Mm.
circle. That's going to really help you, I believe. Mm,
Okay, great. Very, very true. Change is the only constant, as they say, and
mm,
knowledge will never, let you be in a place where you are not upgraded. So
mm,
keep knowing more, keep having more knowledge. Very true.
true.
So I wanted to know more about the recent earthquake that happened in Myanmar, right? What are your views about that, the infrastructure there and everything?
Well, I read the news, and it was really shocking to see that I also read a particular section in Times of India where a 32-story building also, some, I'm not sure, but it was collapsed and a lot of lives lost. More than 2,000 lives have lost in that, and all the infrastructure which collapsed in that earthquake. Only there were a lot of higher officials in the Myanmar government who made comments, and which was recorded in Times of India, stating that proper industrial construction practices and quality standards were not followed, as well as taking Myanmar being a seismic earthquake zone. They have not considered more than there's only 10% of the buildings in Myanmar are following seismic calculations in their design. I mean, in the structural design, they're only considering wind and other factors, but they're not taking into consideration of seismic activity. In that case, what kind of technologies you can use? Like Japan uses a lot of technologies to isolate their foundations. So they'll and share wall and cross bracings in the columns and beams. There's so many other new things which they are using, but these kind of practices lagged in Myanmar, and also quality standards were not up to the mark during the construction. So there's a lot of loopholes which I have read in the newspaper in Times of India. So I think that's really sad to know that if you don't respect construction and not follow the right practices, it's going to affect lives, because we have seen that happen in India also, when there's a fire accident or a bridge collapses. So it's very sad that engineers or the people, contractors, don't follow the right methods, and
Mm.
it affects people's life. So we are dealing with people's life. So it's a responsibility for us to, use our learned practices properly at wherever we are.
Very true.
Mhm.
It feels very bad to know about all the things that are happening worldwide and especially in Myanmar right now. And I hope that people like you who are into construction help us, help the world, do better and learn more and not let such things happen ever again.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, yes, starting with the session, over to you, Stephen. We would like to know more about the buildings and a sustainable future. Thank you.
yeah, sure. Thank you for asking. And before I start, I like to thank every participant who's here, and also MIT especially for giving me this opportunity. And I hope this session will be really fruitful for people who are not from my background also, because as I said, most of the time you're spending inside a building, it is very important that you get to know what's happening inside that building. What are the different kind of equipments are used, how people in the background work. We just enjoy the glitter outside of the lightings, the stalls, or in the mall, but what's going inside, behind the scenes in designing those kinds of buildings. You'll be like, I hope you'll be enlightened by some topics which will really interest you people. So here I'll share my screen. I hope, is it visible for everybody? I think, okay. If you're not able to see something, you can let us know over the chat. But if everybody is able to see the screen, I'll go forward. That is, my topic for today will be green and smart buildings and energy audit concepts. So in simple, I would like to share the future of sustainability in the buildings. What kind of concepts we are going to use, what kind of concept which is already existing, and what currently the market trend is going on. Those concepts I would like to cover in this topic and enlighten you people. That is, what is a green building? Uh, in general, if you say 15 years ago or 12 years ago, when somebody came out with a concept saying green building, as a fresher, it was very new. We used to think green building means a lot of trees and a lot of plants are being planted in the building so that they are green in nature and your lot of oxygen is emitted, and that is how your environment becomes good. That's what we used to think very early days. But the concept of green building is not about just being green around you. It is more about eliminating the negative impact of buildings on the environment. There are, if you see, there's a lot of negative impacts during the construction phases. There's a lot of CO2 emissions, there are a lot of pollution caused, environmental damage caused due to constructions. So those kind of concepts are being, summarized and are being presented here, where you'll have to follow certain methods to reduce the impact. So that is the green building concept. It is to reduce or eliminate negative impact of buildings on the environment and as well as the occupants. What are the benefits? I have a case study also about a building. So I will share what are the benefits of the buildings, green buildings are there in the coming slides. However, just to run through, like you have destruction of ecology, uprooting of plants, disturbing them. I don't know how many of you have seen the news in the past couple of days, what's happening in Hyderabad Central University, where entire greenery is being destroyed with JCBs, and a lot of animals and peacocks and deers are running, and it was very sad visuals we had to see, and a lot of strikes happening. Now the Supreme Court has given a stay because they're trying to develop the land, but at what cost? Causing damage to the environment and the things in the environment. So those kind of concepts are being brought here, that how can we do without tampering the environment? Because if we disturb the environment, and the environment, when it disturbs us back, we see huge loss in lives. So destruction to ecology has to be reduced, efficient use of resources, construction waste has to be reduced. A lot of construction waste goes on, but how can we reduce that? Those kind of concepts are being considered in green buildings. Reduced energy consumption. A lot of our people use energy from the grid, which are uh, non-renewable, like from the fossil fuels. So reduce those energy consumption. Those kind of benefits you will get from the green building concepts. And water management, very important, water scarcity. So how much water can we save? There's a lot of numbers in national building codes which says how much consumption of water per person takes in a day, and how can it be reduced, how can it be recycled. Those concepts are being covered in green buildings. And indoor air quality is very important. How good your indoor air quality is. Are we breathing good oxygen? Are there any volatile organic compounds in the air which has to be reduced? Those things are to be considered in green build. Coming to the economics part, economics is more about numbers, where you see a building when it's built, it is for 90 years or 70 years, dependence upon the operation and maintenance. Your operation cost is the most in the whole life cycle of a building. Compared to the construction, more costs exceeds the construction cost, that is the energy cost during the operations. So how can we reduce the operations energy law? Those kind of things has to be considered, and those are considered in the energy green building concept. A green building may cost 10 to 13% more, but the energy cost would go down by 30 to 65%. Your initial investment to build a green building with all the concepts involved will cost you more because the components you use, the material you're going to use, the methods you're going to use, the time it's going to take, it's going to exceed. So it's going to be initial cost high, but when you do the ROI payback period calculations, you will get back your cost in 30 to 65% more in energy saving. So those are economics you can consider. And as I earlier also said, 35% of your global energy use goes to construction. Whatever energy is produced, 35% goes to globally goes to construction, and 40% in return the building constructions and the buildings cause damage to the environment. 40% of the CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions comes from the buildings and during the construction and during the operations. So that's very important that we take this subject very seriously in the days ahead to come.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Can you just share your PPT because we can see your PPT and your video also on the screen.
uh, how do we do that?
Just while sharing the screen, you have to select the full screen option on your right hand side. Stop sharing and share it again.
This is right.
So
I think you'll have to stop sharing.
stop sharing.
I'm just finding the option stop sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Share now, please.
Share, okay. Is that
And
okay?
then no. While sharing on your right hand side, there will be four icons.
Yeah, this is the first icon, second,
Yes,
third,
the
and
full
fourth.
screen, the full screen icon. And then yes, perfect.
Yes.
You have to make the PPT full screen now.
Okay, sorry. So continuing, what are the strategies for building green buildings? You'll have to understand what are the strategies we use. There is, I will not run through the slides as a reading, but I will go through the point number 4, bioclimatic architectural principles. What does that mean? It means that how your orientation of your building is because of by static, by strategically thinking during the designing phase, the architects build your buildings, airports, or anything which is where the longest side of the building is parallelly facing to north or south, which is not going towards the east or west. A lot of heat gain through the glasses and windows will be reduced. Okay, at the same time, they will also take the orientation of the wind for natural ventilation. Also, the orientation of the sun path is considered so that daylight is used more instead of using lights inside the building, using daylight concept, for the daylight to come inside the building and use less amount of energy through lights. These kind of architectural principles are considered. Okay, and also window to wall ratio. How much opening should we have? For more number of openings also loss, less number of opening is also a loss in the building. So window to wall ratios are to be maintained properly. And if you see the Hyderabad airport where I have worked, you will have a lot of wedges in the roof, which is nothing but it's a design principle where you can get the natural daylight inside your departure area, airport departure area. So your electricity consumption in terms of light usage is reduced. So these kind of a lot of design changes, architectural principles are aligned towards the environment. This one of the strategies I told, which is architectural. Apart from that, usage of a lot of WTP, STP systems in mechanical, which will recycle the water. So net zero is something which the government has been focusing a lot. That is, your building has to be self-sustained. It has to create its own energy. It has to create its own source of water, but not consume it from the outside. So those kind of strategies can be used by using recycling concepts of water. WTP means water treatment plant and sewage treatment plants. And those can be recycled and used for irrigation or for other domestic purposes. So those concepts are very important. Efficient water management. For example, if you see, if you've gone to um, the Mumbai airport, you will not find water inside the toilets, urinals. If you go, there are no water usage in the urinals. You have something called the blue pack. where you have a blue color gel inside the urinal, which will absorb the urine and as well as not emit smell and odor. So there is no use of flush. So there you're saving water. However, the cost for the blue gel pack is higher, but the return of investment when calculated for 5 to 7 years, you'll get the return. But at the same time, you're able to save a lot of water in urinals. It is considered in a NBC that almost in assembly buildings, that is like airports and other places, almost 45 to 50 liters per day is a human consumption domestically. So it can be brought down. If it is brought down, then you are able to cover the point number 7, that is efficient water management you're able to do. Okay, and a lot of energy conservations like efficient light fittings. What do you mean by efficient light fittings? Not using CFL like the ones which we use in the house, but using LED lights, which are very good energy saving compared to the CFL. You will get almost 15 to 20% return compared to the CFL bulbs. And also using natural light and space conditioning. As I spoke in the earlier slide, your building has to be in such a good position. The wind directions is considered for natural ventilation, as well as daylight concept is also brought in. So material use can be reduced. How? Using, say, for example, fly ash brick or a fly ash, where the cement usage is reduced and fly ash is added. It also gives strength. At the same time, your consumption for cement is also going down. So these kinds of concepts you can, there are so many other examples, but as we go on, I will try to add those things. So these kind of strategies has to be bought inside a green building concept. Above all, now coming to the rating system, which is, I think most of the people here, if they are into construction industry, they'll be knowing about BREEAM, LEED and IGBC. These are the rating systems which are being considered overall. IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, which is being used in India. LEED is also being used in India and all over the world, which is LEED means nothing but leadership in energy and environment design. This organization, I'll be talking today about more about LEED, uh, because IGBC concept is also taken from the LEED, because they have taken permission from the LEED, that is using their standards to be implemented in India. So I'll be covering LEED, so which will indirect help you in the IGBC also concept. So LEED India was developed in 2003. Okay, we'll see the first building which was LEED certified also in the next slides coming up. And why certifications? You might ask, why do you need certifications if you're in a green building? That is because the government, if you see in 2021, Tamil Nadu government had given 25% subsidy for people who are IGBC rated buildings. So there's reduction in the taxes, and there's a lot of subsidy you get from the government also if you're following this green building practices. So that is why the government is encouraging, and these kind of rating systems and rating bodies will help you to rate a building, whether it is a 3-star rating. You might have seen it in air conditionings, 3-star rating, 4-star ratings. Similarly, they have brought the concept of rating the buildings as 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. So these kind of concepts are important. So these ratings and systems are very important. Apart from this, a lot of foreign investments can also be bought here, because you're in Telangana, you see there are a lot of foreign investments coming because the government is giving subsidies for companies which are promoting green buildings and green energy. So these kind of rating systems are helpful in that case. So today we'll see more about the LEED certifications. As I said, there are so many LEED certified buildings. I have selected few. That is, first one is in Hyderabad, Green Business Center. It is one of the first green buildings certified. And then you have Rajiv Gandhi International Airport from Hyderabad, which is a silver rated one. And Suzlon Energy Limited Global Headquarters Pune, which is also platinum. Platinum is the highest rated. So these are few. I have worked in Rajiv Gandhi International Airport for 2.5 years close to. So next, coming to the rating, how do you rate it? LEED is rated in based upon 4 criteria. That is certified, silver, gold, and platinum. 4 levels. Depending on the various points the building gets, that certification is given to the building. Based upon this LEED certified building, the company or the building owners, they can claim subsidies from the government. That's how it works. So preliminary, you will also get certified before construction. In the design phase only, you will get some certification. Post construction also, you'll get the same certification. So that will give them subsidies. So these are the 4 levels: 40 to 49 certified level, silver level will be 50 to 59 points, gold level, that is 60 to 79 points, anything above 80 will be certified as platinum building. So for what kind of categories they give this certifications? New construction building or interior design and construction buildings, IDNC, if you see in the bottom, and then operation and maintenance. So once a building is constructed, still you are able to do the energy conservation during the operation of the building. Then also you can claim your certification from the lead organizations. Also for homes, they give it for homes also. It is not prevalent right now in India, but very soon there are so many other organizations like Griha, GRIHA, which will be rating your homes, because we'll have to save energy starting from our houses also. So that's also going to be prevalent by the taken up serious by the government very soon, so that your homes are also rated. So we'll have to be ready for that soon. And this is about the ratings. 4 levels of rating. Certified means it's just certified, it doesn't have any credentials. So now this concept of LEED, it is run by 2 organizations. One is the US Green Building Council, and one more is the GBCI. GBCI is the one which gives the certification, and US GBC is the one which keeps building the concepts and the criteria to achieve those ratings. So GBCI is the organization which will come as a third-party inspection consultant, and they will review your building. Whereas USGBC, they will set the criteria for achieving those parameters. So what are the 5 things which you will have to take care in LEED India? That is, in green building, the LEED concept considers these 5 things: sustainable site, water savings, energy efficiency, material selection, and indoor environment air quality. I will go in depth what each of this means. So you might think how the points came. Just now I spoke about 40, 49, 80 points for platinum. These points are derived from the screen. Okay, if your site selection is good, then you get a maximum point of 1. That what do you mean by site selection is good? I will show it you in the case study. And heat island effect. If you see heat island effect, non-roof roof. Heat island effect means, if you see, everyone must have thought this in their lifetime, that cities are hot in summers, whereas villages are not. Why? That is called heat island effect, because the buildings absorb heat and again emit that radiations again in the environment. So they absorb, they emit. So that space becomes like an island which is very hot. So for that, what kind of materials or glazings you can use in double glazed glasses? Technically, I'm not going to go inside, but what are the other concepts you can consider? What kind of material you are using? If U value, that is the resistance to heat value of the material, that has to be considered. So those concepts have, if you're emphasizing and recording it in a sheet, and when we submit it to the third party consultant, they will give you the points, point number. So that has 1 point. Also, site disturbance, noise level has to be maintained in the site. Pollution level during construction has to be maintained. So for that you have points. Okay, and light pollution, excess use of light also shouldn't be there. And adequate lux levels. Lux levels in the sense they are the amount of light which has to be there 1 meter from the ground. That is around 150 to 200 lux levels has to be maintained when there's some activity going on. So that excess of light shouldn't be used, and less light also shouldn't be there. So those kind of things, if your practices are considered, you get you get 1 point. Coming to the second one, water efficiency. If you're able to recycle the water, say you have used 100 liters of water, you're able to make it 70% or 80% only by recycling the water, you get 1 point. And then for energy and atmosphere, there, how well your building is commissioned. Commissioning is something very important. Once you build an equipment or something is installed, it has to be commissioned properly so that it works properly. If it is not commissioned properly, it will not work properly and it will consume more energy. So there are set list of enhanced commissioning process list which has to be followed and submitted. That time you will get that points for under energy and atmosphere. And like you will have to use good refrigerants in ACs. If you see right now, they are considering like R410, R22, R32. These are the refrigerants. Earlier, there was using ammonia and other things. Other refrigerants were used. But now there R32 is something which is very, it has global warming potential as 0, ozone depletion as 0, and global warming GW value, I think 500 or 400 only. So the impact on the environment is less. So usage of those kind of refrigerants inside your air conditionings, you will get some points. So these are the things. Good BMS system. I will show you what is BMS systems in the next slide. You will get more points. Material and resources. As I said, using fly ashes and using there are a lot of additives. For example, earlier days for curing a wall or a concrete, what do you do in your houses? We spray water for it to cure. But these days, where they to save water, you have a lot of additive chemicals which you have to mix it in the concrete and pour. What happens that you will have to use less amount of water for curing. So you are saving water there. So these kind of concepts, if you are using, you will get scored. This is also recycling. Recycling. What is recycling? I will show you examples in the next slide. If you are able to recycle materials, you will get points for that also. And then if you're using innovation and design processes, like you're able to use solar energy or geothermal energy from the ground or hydro energy, then you get more points for it. If you're using efficient water cycle, water harvesting methods, then you get more points. And usage of daylighting, as I spoke earlier, and giving proper ventilation. Ventilation means, see, for example, a man, generally there is set number of air changes. Air should not be contaminated in the place where we work. Air changes per hour is given by ASHRAE, a council called ASHRAE, American Society of Refrigeration and Heating Engineering. So for example, in certain places, 20 ACPH is required, 15 ACPH is required. Those many times fresh air has to come in and the old air has to go. If you're able to maintain all this using fans and blowers, then you get points for that. And you're able to use 75% of your spaces daylight during the daytime, then you get more points. So these were the points criteria. You can study whenever you're free and you can get to know more about it. And then you have, this is my case study. So just give me a moment. This is the case study which I'll be talking to you today. Now we have spoken about the green building, how the LEED certification helps you get a good green building. Now let us study an example. This example is Sorabji Godrej Green Business Center. Okay, there are so many other buildings which we have worked earlier on, but I'm not officially allowed to share those details. But this is something which we are able to share with people because it is the first building and it sets an example for people to follow these methods. Okay, so this building is in Hyderabad, which is 4.5 acres built, and the name of the architect is Karan Grover, who has used the LEED concept in this building. And what is the rating for the building? That is platinum level they are given, that is 80 above points. So this is the highest rated building. So what concept they have considered? The same 5 which I just spoke to you: sustainability, water efficiency, energy efficiency, material for recycling, material and resources recycling, indoor environment, air quality. That is how much natural ventilation we are able to give fresh air. So what did they use in the building for getting platinum? Sustainable site, easily accessible from the main road. So the location is in such a place there your access to the main road is very easy. Okay, and a lot of high-rise building is not there. You have free space for the ventilation for the air movement, and also heat island effect is not caused because the location is in a good place, and there are a lot of natural vegetations and water bodies surrounding. Okay, and pollution level is also less in that area, and how it is sloped naturally. Sometimes what happens, your land selection, if it is wrong, you will have to give slope for your drain water and drainage water, everything in opposite direction. So what they have to do, they will raise the foundation levels in one side and give a slope to avoid all that. Naturally, if it is sloped and your architectural design also matching with the natural slope, then you will save money, and it is considered as a sustainable site. What is the water table? If there's more water in the soil, then that is also wrong. It will cause rusting in the foundation. etc. So you'll have to take care of it, that how good site are you selecting. So this site, they selected all these parameters and they got specific points for it. Also, how energy efficiently their orientation. See, southeast direction is the building facing based upon the wind and the daylight. How do you do that? You have daylight simulation softwares, okay, which we cannot talk about today, but there are a lot of simulation softwares which will predict your climate in that area, how the sun path is going, how the sun rays enter inside the building. So those kind of softwares are there available in the market, which will simulate a real-time scenario. Receive less rainfall in the monsoon. Climate is fairly warm most of the year. And then coming to electricity, use of photovoltaic cell, that is nothing but solar energy, which is providing 16% of the building's electricity. So they got points from that also. Okay, and how I, I I spoke about the wedges on the top of the roof. You can see the photo here, the bottom right. So your light is penetrating as well as it doesn't add direct heat to the roof. So this kind of design they have used. And lighting, if you see how ventilated and glasses are used in the facade levels, the lights to come in. So less lights you have to use. The glazing, the glasses used is also low heat transmitting. I said about a U value, right? So how much heat the conductivity the glass will take, that is also considered, and proper selection is made. Double glasses they have used to reduce the heat. So that's how they got points in lighting. Usage of jali walls. Instead of building a complete closed wall, they've built jali walls which has holes in it so that the light can come in and also the wind can come in. And green roof, a very efficient method. Like the recent days, people are considering for cool roof technologies, where your house is painted with epoxies, which will reflect the light back instead of absorbing the light in the summers. So apart from that, you can use grass or plantations. And also there's one more thing, you cannot use all kinds of plants, because again for irrigation, you will have to use more water. So you will have to select the right plants which will consume less water, at the same time give you oxygen and ventilation, good air quality. So both the criteria have to be taken. Just you can't fill in more amount of plants, because again for irrigating you have to spend more water. So that also has to be considered. And placage, the trees are around the building, that gives a cool, natural cool for the building. So your electricity consumption in air conditioning is reduced. So this is an overview image which we got. That is how water body is there, roof garden is there, solar plant is there on the roof, a wind tower is used. Wind tower is nothing but um, it captures the wind. It's a very ancient technology used by the Greeks, where towers are used to take out the hot air from the building. It is going upside the chimney. You might ask why the hot air goes upside and cold air comes. It is a natural physics phenomenon where cold air is dense, so it will come down. Hot air is lighter, so it goes up. For the transfer to take place, chimneys are placed in such a way that cold air comes inside the building and hot air goes outside the buildings. And also when the cold air is coming inside, they place water bodies like a water pool. So the air touches the water and then enters the building, it is cooled. So these kind of wind towers, you call them as wind towers. This is used here. Might be very old in nature, but very efficient if you see. Rainwater system. Water efficiency means using rainwater system. So generally when rainwater harvesting is a concept which everybody knows, to collect water. So when during the rainy season, so a lot of porous pipes are placed under the soil, where once the water enters the soil, it just again enters the pipe because it is porous in nature, and then the water is collected in a pit. So those kind of systems are being used. Air quality by using wind towers. Low VOC is something very important, where we might not know, but you'll have to see how much grams per liter of VOC content is there. For example, in your house also, when you paint or when you use a leather or when you use a carpet, these kind of things will emit harmful gases. So that is because of the VOC content in them. So using low VOC, that is, I think almost 30 to 40 grams per liter has to be there. That is, then it's a low VOC component, like paints or adhesives, glues, those kind of components. You'll have to check for those and use those kind of materials. And then they have a courtyard, jali walls, which we already spoke. Material and resources, how did they get the points? Fly ash bricks they used, same thing. And they have recycled a lot of bricks. For example, in when I was working with GMR Hyderabad Airport, they were building a Vizag airport right now. So they used a lot of rocks available underground, and they brought in crushers, L&T company. They brought in crushers, they crushed the rocks, and they used them as aggregates again, and for compaction and for rough soil layering, for backing, backfilling. So they didn't have to purchase again something else. Usage of the already existing resource, using crushers and filtration systems like Jali to take out unnecessary things from the soil, and then again using back to backfilling and other purpose, or aggregates. Those kind of things you can do to save recycling in it. And baggage boards are nothing but sugarcane when they compressed and you are using it as a board. Where do you use it? You can use it as wall partitions inside your offices. If you see, you have partitions. So those kind of partitions you can use, and also for desk you can use. So those kind of recycling elements, if you're using, you get more points. And industrial waste, for example, you might have seen in certain houses, like you have this mosaic tiles placed in the top of the roof, broken, but they don't throw it out, but they put the cement and they just fix it back on the roof. It also gives you a aesthetically good look. Also, energy conservation is done because it reflects the heat on the roof. So you're using the broken elements again in the building construction. For example, you see lawn trays are entirely made of recycled plastic waste. The recycling plastic. Floor tiles used are from broken tiles and using it efficiently. Where aesthetically nothing is important, there you can use these broken tiles instead of throwing them. Recycled iron is used in the corridor where there is not much requirement of strength. There you can use. You can't use it in the main structures because there you'll have to use the fresh iron made from the factories because it gives you the strength. But you recycled one will not have the same similar strength. So you can use it somewhere else for aesthetically appearance purpose instead of wasting. So these things they have followed here. So this is a whole thing about where I spoke about is all about green building. So these kind of practices, if you're able to do, these are very basic practices. Apart from that, you go in depth on everyday work basis, every technical aspect, every materials LCA is also considered. What is LCA? Life cycle analysis of a material. For example, I'm able to get a cement from 10 kilometers. Why should I buy it from a place where it is far off? Because during the transportation, a lot of greenhouse gases are emitted, right? So small thing, but we consider that also, that you buy it from a local place, local market, nearby place. That is one example. And life cycle analysis means it is the overall embodied energy. For example, it is called from cradle to grave. For example, a metal, for example, I can say a charger or a pen, from cradle to grave, matlab, from where it was birthed, in which place, till where it goes to recycle. How much energy is spent in making the pen is called an embodied energy or life cycle analysis. From the very grain, from where it started and where it will go, where it will end. How much energy is spent on this? That is also considered during material selection and resources. So that's called life cycle analysis. So that is also one of the concepts you will have to consider in green buildings. Coming to the next part. Now that we have considered a building, you made it a green building, you got a certification and everything, and also consider the embodied energy consumption has been reduced during the building. But now when it comes to operations, now the building is operating. This is the highest phase, because 5 years you'll be able to build an airport, but it will run for 70-80 years if the operation is good. So that time, how much energy the building is consuming, how can we reduce their concept of smart and intelligent buildings? What are smart and intelligent buildings? where you're able to control the different systems inside the building is nothing but smart and intelligent building. What kind of systems? Environment control, how good your air conditioning or air quality is. Lighting system, you're able to control the lights on and off, amount of light, control full you through a computer based software. It is nothing but through BMS. Building management system is a software we use to control all this. And BMS is developed by different companies, like Siemens is one, which they make. ABB make their own communication protocols, etc. And that's how we will able to control all the devices inside the buildings. Lighting systems you can able to control. Security system, access management, which door should open, which door shouldn't open. Not everybody will have access to every place. So that access and security management, CCTVs, you have to control that also. All that feed has to come into one place. Here recently, one of the smart airports is the Hyderabad airport, where we have used AOCC center, that is airport operational control center. Okay, and where everything in the what happens in the airport comes inside an AI simulation. The AI makes an judgments and predictives that this many people might come during this time, because it studied for past 1 year that what was the data, how many people are coming at what time. So based upon that data, you're able to do more stuff efficiently to run the airport. Unnecessary times, why to switch on the lights? Unnecessary times, why the air conditioning has to run? So those kind of intelligent communication happens in intelligent buildings using BMS. Power distribution. You're able to control the power wherever it is going distribution, placing the energy meters at the right places. How much energy is this light consuming, or this chiller is consuming, or this fan is consuming, or this pump is consuming. So this has to be considered in power distribution management. So you will have to control all the utilities. Major is the electricity, water, solar, and gas, which will be using in the building. Able to control all this is nothing but intelligent and smart building. Why we have to control, I will talk in the next slide. Because it will transform less energy, lower cost, safer environment. If you ask me, how does that uh, controlling works and how does less energy is consumed? For example, if I am able to get the temperature in an area, if it is achieved, say 24 is your comfortable zone, 24 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is achieved, immediately when data comes inside the system, the fan is switched off. Understood? So that's how that information is able to control the equipment and save energy. So you're able to get unnecessary lift and escalators have to run. Why? When there's no passenger. So you will have to lock it in such a way that during this phase, this escalator should not run. So how do you do that? You get the information from the number of people are arriving at that time. So that information is again fed into this. A lot of background work happens, but I'm just giving you superficial experience. What are the major goals of an intelligent building? Major goals of the intelligent building is to manage the building, space management, and business management. These are the only reason why we use smart building concept. See, in this, I'm not going to talk about everything, but there's one system called the CAFM system, Computer Aided Facility Management System, which is nothing but it is maintaining the schedules, it maintains the entire planning, it calculates the assets inside the building. Okay, it's all recorded at what time, what machine is running, what time the machine is switching, or how many hours it is running. Okay, it has run for 100 hours. Now it gives an alarm that you have to go and do the maintenance of the equipment. If you don't do maintenance, the equipment will fail. If the equipment fails, more energy is consumed, more amount of investments is done. So unnecessary energy is spent. So those kind of systems are managed through CAFM system. One I spoke, that is building management, BMS. Second system is CAFM. These are two important systems we use in the buildings to control and manage the building systems. All equipments. You name it, any equipment you're seeing inside a mall also, it has been controlled. If it is a green building. If not, not. But if it's a green building, then every single device you see inside the building is being controlled. These are the important management systems: energy management system, lighting management system, security system, telecommunications to communicate between the offices, and then CAFM, which I spoke. I'll talk about the first two systems, that is energy management and lighting system, because these are the concepts which we work on everyday basis. That is, energy management system is nothing but monitoring your everyday energy. How much energy do you consume? How much it has to, and how much it is consuming in actual. Planned versus actual is calculated, and why it is, if it is crossing the limits, then why? Then you use your technical knowledge to resolve those. Lighting management system. For example, now only 50 people are there inside the room, or there is only 10 people inside the room. Based upon the occupancy, there are sensors and other things placed that light switches on and switches off. And also the intensity of the light can be controlled. How intense bright it has to be, and how much less bright it has to be there. Using lighting, LMS systems we call them. We have driver controls, which controls the LED lights. So these kinds of components are there to control their building. But why am I talking only about air conditioning and lighting system? Because most of your energy is consumed, 60 to 70% is from air conditioning only. If a building is taking 100 units of energy, that is 70 units of the energy is from because of air conditioning. Remaining 10 to 20 is because of your lighting. The rest is all small things like your travelators, escalators, and other things, small things. But these are the two, lighting and air conditioning. If you are able to control, you'll save a lot of energy. These are the percentage which is mentioned. You can go through it. Retail buildings, 37% lighting, 30% space heating, 10% space cooling. I'm just holding the slide for some time so that you get to see how much energy is consumed by which department. Most of it is from the heating and cooling only. Next comes your lighting. So you'll have to control them to be efficient using BMS and CAFM. Before getting to the next slide, the main concept to summarize of smart buildings is that you have to be a data driven building. Without data, you cannot run the building. If you're able to run the building without the data, that means you're not efficient. Until unless you get all the data and use it, you will not be able to manage it. That is why we use BMS system to get a building to be a data driven building, because there are new concepts called the digital twins, IoT systems, where all this data is collected and placed in a server or in a cloud computing. And when you add artificial intelligence to it and machine learning to it, what it does, like a human brain, it will compare all the data, 5 months data with current data, what is happening. And if there are machine languages programmed in such a way that it will also tell what is the problem also. So IoT systems are used. Digital twins, a building model is developed artificially inside the system. A model is developed, and a real-time building, how it is working, you can see it in front of your eyes. So you're having more data. As they say, knowledge is wealth, or data is wealth. Whoever is having more knowledge in the days to come, they will only control the world. It is how it is. If you see all these political parties, whatever it is, it's more about data. What people like, what people don't like. That is how you can act. Same way, what's happening inside your building, more data, more control, less energy consumed. That is a simple logic. There is one last concept which I will take over and I will conclude this session. Now the building has been built, green building. Now you are able to use smart buildings to run the building efficiently. And last step is auditing. Now whatever you do, use BMS system, everything. At the end of the day, there is a human intervention required to check if the system is working properly or not. That is nothing but auditing. How much energy is consumed? Why is it consumed? How much CO2 emission is released because of this consumption? What are the conservation measures you can give? That is energy audit. It is to analyze an energy. Okay, so there is a body called BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which is the Ministry of Energy from the central government, authorized by Ministry of Energy from central government. They are the ones who give the ratings for your air conditioning. 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. Similarly, they give ratings for your industries, for your airports, for your commercial office space buildings. And that is very important, that if this building is able to save energy, You get subsidies, you save a lot of things, and you can bring in new investments into your company because you're an efficient company working. So like international laws have also changed a lot. Like the Paris Agreement has been there. So if you're having a tie-up with some other foreign countries, they will ask for all this kind of things, data, before engaging with you. If you're able to do that, then they'll consider placing an order to you or not. So very important that this energy conservation is to be considered. And going forward, energy conservation measures, the solutions. If it is consuming more, then using your technical mechanical knowledge, MEP knowledge, you have to give them solutions on reducing the energy consumption. So what are the types of audit you will have to consider? There are three types. Okay, type 1 audit, type 2 audit, type 3 audit. That is nothing but just a walkthrough. Preliminary walkthrough is done in the building or an industry, and you're making a notes. Okay, this is wrong, this is right, this process is correct, this process is wrong. You have to change this for saving energy. Type 2 is a mini audit where more data is considered, where calculations are done. How many kilowatt hour a motor is consuming? That calculations, those formulas are being considered. Okay, and in type 3 of audit, your EPI calculations come in. That is energy performance index. That is how much energy per square meter of area in 1 year it is consuming. So based upon that data only, you will be able to understand if the energy is energy efficient building or not. So those audits are very important. So these three types of audits are there. And apart from this, the master audit is something more in detail. Okay, where you suggest them schedule maintenance, you give ROI. Say you have given a solution, remove the 10 lights, place 10 more LED lights, you will save 100 rupees, and that 100 rupees will come back to you in 10 days. So this entire calculation is done, is a very simple one I told, but when it comes to deeper equipments, the ROI calculations, payback calculations are high. So those calculations are involved in master audit. So these are the different stages of audit. Okay, where your also envelope performance was also seen, how the entire building is working. Is there any leakages coming? How efficient the walls are there? How the structure is efficiently there? If you see in, I think last year or something, there was a failure, structural failure in airport, Delhi airport. One life was lost during the rainy season, I believe. Hmm. Why? Because your envelope means all the structural elements, those maintenance is happening or not, those are also to be considered. Because of that, what is the loss? Energy loss is also there, life loss is there, priority. Energy loss, a new structure has to be built, new equipments has to be bought, again spend more money, more energy, more emissions. Understanding the concept, I believe. So those kind of things also have to be taken care. Envelope also of the building has to be maintained properly. So these are the detailed steps of energy audit methodology. Step 1, what you'll have to do. Step 2, I believe we are running short of time. Can I go through this, Charlotte, or
Yeah, please wrap it.
can I go through this, or
Yeah, you can go through it.
yeah? So what are the different, as I said, there are 3 stages of audit. What are the steps involved? Plan and organize. A general walkthrough is done. Then you, in the step 2, you discuss with the maintenance people how they are operating and collect all the equipment data, energy consumption data, electricity bills from them. Step 3, you understand the flow diagram from them, how the flow is happening. For example, a pen is produced, from material is coming in, it is manufactured here, it is assembled here, it is final marketing is done, I mean the stickering is done here, it is packed here, and the logistics takes over. So entire process is studied, and which process more energy is consumed, there you audit more. So you have to understand in the step 3. Step 4, same thing, you monitor every aspect again. And this time you not only monitor like a walkthrough, you take measurements, you take the values, you take the plastic, for example, the pen itself. What are the properties of that pen? What are the materials used? So those kind of things data you take. And then step 5, if there's more energy consumption you found, then you put your energy conservation measures, ideas, and then you do the experiments. Okay, by changing this, for example, I can give you one example. That is, for example, there was one motor running. Now you add a VFD to it. What is VFD? That is, it will be able to control the speed of the motor. It is not running always at 100% speed. If you want, I can run it at 50% speed also, based upon the requirement. So energy conservation. So you instead of changing for all the motors, you experiment with one motor, and if you're able to save energy, then you apply it for the other motors. So these kind of things are done in step 5. And then step 6, analysis is done detail. And then step 7, encon measures. Okay, comparing with the existing and the present data, that is done, and whatever new ideas you can give, that is done. Then the last 2-3 steps, that is cost benefit analysis. Not that every client will be ready to be you give an idea and they will ready to take it, because cost is involved. So you have to do the analysis there also. I can give you one, and the last one is the implementation and the follow up. Like we had used a lot of ideas in the airport. That is, there's a lot of water you get from the condensation of air conditioning units. A lot of water is released. You might see condensation water inside your air conditioning also. Water is always dripping, and that goes outside your building, right? So that water, we try to collect it from all the air conditioning units inside, and we use that water for makeup. By reducing the hardness, we use that water for other purposes inside the utility. So there are like this so many other concepts we used. Like we used solar energy concepts. So new ideas, what you can do, will always be helpful. So during this audit, as I said, what are the instruments we use? We use various instruments to measure the values: gas analyzer, power analyzer, speedometer or tachometer, flow meter to measure the flow of liquids inside the building. Like chill water flow is there, gas flow, how much it is happening. Like for steam, boilers, for that purpose. For thermometers, we use anemometer to measure the velocity of the air, and lux meter or digital manometer to measure the light lux levels inside the buildings. If it is more, we can reduce it. So these are some instruments which we use. And finally, before I conclude, this is the last statement which I wanted to share with everyone. That is, green and intelligent building is more than a building. It is a living system. It is more than just a building. It is a living ecosystem. We are trying to build a system, not just a building, a structure. It is an ecosystem where humans and all these technologies and this building coexist together with the environment. It is not they are separate and we are separate, but we are all as one. We are able to live. So that is the major concept of green and intelligent building. Thank you. So I hope there was some good learning for everyone, each individual here. So I open this floor right now for questions, if there's any queries or anything. And also
Yes.
there's a poll. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, I request you to please fill the poll. So, thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you so much for a very insightful and enlightening session. A lot of things were very new to me as well, and a lot of things were very like we see in the chat box already. People are saying that it is a very useful topic. Please share the PPT and everything. So, I think your expertise and a lot of information that you shared with us was very, very useful, and we are very grateful that you offered us a deeper knowledge about the topic. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. I thank MIT again for this opportunity. Glad that I believe people have learned something, because not everything might be very relevant to them, but I think it will be a good learning here. After these words and these concepts, you can go study on your own. It will help you,
Uh,
because it's a very sure shot that these concepts are going to be bought inside your homes. Might be not in our generation, but you will see that down the line in 20-30 years, where your houses are automated. By clapping, everything is going to change. By speaking, your things are going to change. Everything, your gas is monitored. I would like to make an example, because I was in UAE last month, and I was like astonished when I saw the future museum of the future, where the new concepts which are they're trying to build inside. So we're not back. India is also in that same journey. So these concepts very soon you will be using them also, I believe, in your houses very soon. In 30, 40 years. Might be not our generation, but it is going to take over very soon.
Very, very true. And that is, I think, very informative of you. You shared your personal examples as well. Everybody loved
Thank
the
you.
session. I request everyone to please fill the poll as well. And I open the floor for all the questions. Learners, please feel free. You can also unmute yourself and you can put the questions in chat box as well. And yes, we will be sharing the PPT with you. You will also get to see the session on YouTube. So there was a question already, how to calculate lead point. You can see in the chat.
I just explained, I think, the entire point system.
Yes.
There is
Okay.
five parameters are considered, and that five again subdivisions are there under each parameter, and each parameter has point number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 1, 1, 1. So you are
Okay.
able to fulfill that criteria with the proper document, backing document. Okay,
Yes.
then you get the point. And how it works, I can tell you that is, you cannot do it. Even I will not be doing the lead certification. I will just be
Okay.
collecting the data and giving. There will be third party consultant specialist who will do the lead certification. So when we hire them, we are in contact with them. They tell you more in detail what requirement is done. Okay,
Okay.
but when we are communicating with them, you need to know what is lead. So
Okay.
that's why we know all this. So, and that they collect the, when do they do? Not after construction. In the design phase also they collect data, construction phase they collect the data, and after finishing of the building they collect the data. Then they combine and they submit the report to GBCI.
Okay. Okay. Fair. So there was another question. How do we apply green building concepts to transportation infrastructure construction projects like building bridges, roads, flyovers, metros?
Um, 2 days ago I read it. The IGBC has made released uh, it in their website also for for mass rapid transport system. That is all your metro railways, your bridges. So they have how this green building concept can be implemented in those sector, not just commercial buildings, but also in mass rapid transport system. That is nothing but metros and other train systems or bridges, those kind of buildings. So how they have considered is the same five concepts, nothing new, same concepts they have considered it.
Okay. So someone has said, please share the mix design for, yeah, can you read it?
I think you're asking for the concrete mix M40, M30, M35, which is not, I'm not a specialist in it. I know I'm from mechanical background, but however, you'll find it anywhere online, or you can ask a civil person for it rightly, because the aggregate amount, the cement amount, uh, percentage 30 is to 10 is to 20 is to 30. I'm not sure about it. That's why I'm not able to tell you the right one, but you will find it out there
No,
in
no, it's
civil.
okay. Okay. It's okay.
Uh,
Yes.
Sir, can we use a mixed water flow of faucet and shower for residential project? If any criteria for IGBC or flow?
you're asking how much flow has to be considered.
Yes, sir. For shower and faucet.
Uh,
Any?
Yes, there are certain criteria as mentioned in the NBC. How much
Mm-hmm.
GPM, how much gallons per minute has to be considered for
Right.
health faucet and showers. Okay.
Right.
However, I don't remember the number exactly for you. It could be around 5 to 15 GPM something. And however, we maintain the calculations of pressure around 3 to 4 kgs in the line. That is one thing I
Okay.
can confirm, but exact GPM values, I'm sorry on it. You find it in the NBC guidelines.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is the maintain of flow to drain the water drain for washrooms water drain?
Flow.
Yes, for if any water to flow for the drain and outlet, if any If any point to be maintained in IGBC product?
No, nothing that. It is more
Thank
about
you.
the water consumption. In IGBC, it is
Okay,
all
only
about
for water consumption.
consumption. And one of the basic things I can tell you is about 45 liters per day is what you have considered as per NBC standards. Wherever, however, if you could reduce it,
Okay,
because
okay.
they compare it with a typical building versus your current construction building. So on what basis will they, you might ask me, on what basis will they have to certify me in water efficiency? Say I have 60 liters if I use also. No, there is one benchmark, which is the typical building benchmark, which is as per the NBC standards or International Plumbing Code IPC standards. So if you are able to compare that and say this is the code mentioning, however, we are able to do this, well and good. That's how you rate it. You get more points.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Stephen, would you like us to share the poll questions that you had for us?
Yeah, please. Let's see the answers.
Okay. Yes. Everybody, please respond to these poll questions as well, based on your understanding.
I think there's one more question from Rupali, which is, see, for buying any commercial or flat space, there is nothing, you're just you going to use the space. So there's nothing LEED certification requirement for that. You can buy any space, but the actual owner of the building is entitled that he will set the grounds for certifications and everything.
Bijanath, can you please turn your mic off? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes, Stephen, please.
Okay, I think
Okay.
ended. So 51.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think 51% have right answers.
Okay. That's great.
I think 29 is first one. It's very close by, but however, the answer is B, or the second one, leadership in energy and design.
I'll
Right.
be sharing the second poll now.
Okay. I will answer to Shadab Alam on data center building after this poll.
So these are more like quiz questions. Stephen is trying to understand how much you understood from his session. So everybody, please respond to the poll questions and let us know. Yes, meanwhile, you can go for the answer.
Okay. So Himanshu, see, I can suggest you you can find, see, it is, you cannot attempt the exam directly because it's, you will have to for LEED, it is almost 50K or something you'll have to pay for your first certification. So I would suggest you to enroll in a course. There are so many other institutes which online classes, they can, if you Google them out, you will get it. You can study their course for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. That will give you a lot of mock exams, and then you can attempt your LEED exam.
Great. We have the answer for poll question 2 as well. Stephen.
79%, I think, have given the right answers.
That's great. Okay, very good. So, can you answer Shabad Alam's question, please? Meanwhile, we launched the third poll. We have launched the third poll. Everybody, please respond to that as well.
How can we minimize energy in data center building? Okay, that's a very rightful question, because which is something which I am also in that process of learning, because there are so many new technologies right now. I was there in Mumbai last month in a company called Stools. Okay, they manufacture a lot of liquid immersion systems. Okay, data centers are the future and they're going to consume huge load. For them, the new concepts are cooling immersion systems, where your GPUs and chips are immersed inside a dielectric liquid, okay, and it is cooled. So that is an energy saving method instead of using the traditional hot aisle and cold aisle method, if you know what I'm talking. And then apart from that, you have rear door cooling systems. Okay, rear door RDHXE, rear door heat exchangers. That is also a new concept. And also direct chip cooling system, where your racks are not cooled, but directly your chip is connected to the dielectric liquid and it is cooled. So these are some new innovation technologies which is going to be in data centers to reduce the cooling load. Also, a lot of heat sinks are going to be used. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, I hope Stephen has answered your question correctly.
Names of BMS software: Johnson Controls, ABB, Siemens. All these companies are. I've worked with JCI, Johnson Controls. I'm not Surya Prakash. Tell me some names of the companies that are providing consultation for residential. I don't remember specifically Mr. Surya Prakash into residentials, because my experience with residentials is very less. Commercial spaces, there are a lot of consultants available in Bangalore and in Hyderabad also, who can help you get certifications for your building. Anything else? Let me go through.
Yes, the third poll has also been answered. Stephen?
Yeah, I think not a career principal. I think 75% have given a right answer.
Okay, that's great.
Any study material resources? I'm confused. Okay, there's no. That's what I'm saying. There is a course where you can try it out. It is called D2O Learning. D2O Learning. Visit the website. Go through them. You will know what is the course fee, everything. If you do that course and study hard, you will clear lead or IGPC. D2O. Himanshu. For you, that is D2O. D2O Learning. And did I miss any?
I think if anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask questions, please feel free to do that as well, learners.
Where can we buy all energies? Where can we buy? We can buy it from the vendors. You have registered vendors for all those field devices or sensors, whatever you are talking about. Depends on the make, whether you are buying Honeywell is one very famous company. Johnson Controls is also something. These two companies I have worked with, so they can give you all those field devices which is required, sensors and etc. Anything else, or let me go through if I missed any. Rupali, as I said, I think I told, there's nothing checklist for you to buy a flat. There's nothing. There's no checklist for it.
Someone has written, is it a DLO or what?
DLO, what is it? D2O. D numeric 2 O. Delhi to Orissa. Yeah, Ishan.
D2O, yes. Ishan has written.
See, smart buildings, what I meant is smart, not exactly smart buildings investment, but energy conservation related projects like green energy products. Those things are being welcomed by the government these days. For that purpose, yes, smart buildings will not, uh, attract any investors. But investors these days, if they are particular about having certifications and using energy conservation of products, then you will have to be ready for providing that. So in that terms, it is yes. How can we improve our existing homes to have a green building attributes? First thing is you start switching, like our mothers used to do, start switching off fans and lights when it is unnecessary. So that is first thing. Apart from that, always see what is your energy consumption per month. If you see you're consuming 100 units or 200 units, you can analyze on your own on what equipments you are using. You can make a list of equipments, that is fridge or microwave. Then understand if you're how many hours are we using the microwave in a day, or how many hours are we using the heater. Are we using good efficient heaters like water heaters where you have auto cut-off systems? Unnecessary running will not be there. Once the temperature is set point is achieved, you switches off. So those kind of new things can be used.
Yes.
And what are the most effective strategies for retrofitting existing buildings to meet the green? Effective strategies to retrofit an existing building will start with audit. Whenever there is once a building is built, for 10 to 15 years, nobody is going to look out for the energy efficiency, because that is the first investment made. So after 10 to 15 years, when the energy efficiency is looked at, what happens, you have a capex allocated for the project. So this much amount you can spend for the retrofit works. In that case, you have to choose on different subjects. For example, HVAC, what new concepts are available in the market. You can talk with the vendors, get a quotation from them, and you can make a ROI by saying that this, if I bring this logic new concept, I can save this much of energy and this much of money. What are those concepts? You will have to talk to the vendors. I can give you one or two which I've used. Like for example, in air handling units, you have heat recovery wheel system, okay, or condensation water recovery systems, which we have used solar energy systems. So you can use this kind of concepts and make a retrofit project work better. What will is the cost of green building certification? Because in Mumbai I'm working as an architect, more probably not towards green. What is the cost of green building certification? I'm not sure about the fees about certification. As I said, um, I've worked with third-party certified players, but not yet with commercially finances. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question.
Okay, we will be sharing the LinkedIn profile as well with you all, so you guys can connect with Stephen. Yes. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, so as the session was really helpful and everybody is so grateful, we can see that in the chat box as well. As a gesture of as a token of appreciation, we would like to give Stephen just a moment. Yeah, so as a token of appreciation, we would like to give Stephen a certificate from MIT SDEs.
Thank you.
Pooja, can you please? I think there is some technical glitch happening from Pooja's end. Give us a moment. Meanwhile, if there is any other question that you have missed or something like that, or anybody wants to answer any question, please feel free. Yes. Yes. So
Thank you. Thank you, MIT. Thank you everyone for this.
thank you, Stephen. It was a very, very knowledgeable session. We really enjoyed it. The information that you shared and everything else, that was something that I think everybody needed to know more about. So thank you so much.
Thank you everyone. Thank you all the participants. Thank you for the MIT, all the leadership department and everyone who's made this possible today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we will be concluding today's session. I also want you all to know that we are having another session on 12th of April. So everybody please do join that session as well, as it is a session from a mentor. Yes. So yeah, we will be sharing everything related to the PPT and you will be able to see the video as well soon. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will also be sharing the LinkedIn profile. We have already posted the LinkedIn profile on our LinkedIn. You can go to MITSD's LinkedIn and you can check Stephen's profile from there as well. So do reach out there and connect with Stephen, connect with us as well. And if you want to be a part of Synergysphere as a speaker, please fill the form. We will see you in the next session. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye.